Hello, dear students. Welcome to the session and welcome to my newly launched EdTech startup and Thrive the Learning app. In the previous session, I discussed about inductance. In this session, I am going to discuss some more basic electrical elements. That is, first I'll discuss about capacitance and capacitor, and then I'll discuss what do you mean by linear, active, and bilateral elements. These are very important topics for the purpose of semester exam as well as competitive exams. So before starting the session, in the case if you are new to the session, here is a small introduction about me. Myself, Mayank Kumar, your educator and founder of this app. I have the teaching experience of 4 years. I have the industrial experience of 1 year. I have worked in one of the renowned public sector undertaking company, Energy Efficiency Services Limited. I have done masters in electrical engineering from NIT Patna. I have qualified GATE 8 number of times and also cleared public sector undertaking exam. I have mentored more than 10,000 students. My areas of expertise are network theory, power electronics, power systems, electrical machines, and control systems. So, dear guys, let's begin the session. So, first, let us see what do you mean by capacitance. So, if you see capacitance, so capacitance is nothing but the property of an electrical material. It's the property of electric material that opposes change in voltage. In the case of resistance, it opposes change flow of current. In the case of inductance, it opposes change in current, and capacitance opposes change in voltage. So what is the unit of capacitance? I think it is known to you. Its unit is farad. There is nothing new in this one. Next, what is capacitor? So capacitor is an electrical element that stores energy in presence of electric field. What does it mean? If there is electric field, suppose this is the electric field E, if you place a capacitor here in between the electric field, what will happen? That capacitor will store energy in presence of electric field. Now, since it is storing energy in presence of electric field, that means due to the potential difference. Electric field means what? If you are applying any potential difference across the element. So, the stored energy by the capacitor is called electrostatic potential energy. If you talk about inductor stores magnetic energy. Now, capacitor is storing electrostatic potential energy. And what about resistor? Resistor is energy dissipating element. That means resistor does not store any energy. So this is capacitance and capacitor. So now we'll see why capacitance opposes change in voltage, and then we'll derive the formula of capacitance. And today we'll discuss one of the very beautiful terms, that is displacement current. So what is displacement current? What kind of current flows through capacitor? So let's see what is capacitor. That means how to make a capacitor. You can see this is one plate, this is another plate. Plate number 1, plate number 2. That means if two plates are kept parallel. Now plates means what? Plates means conducting plates. Suppose we are taking two rectangular or circular plates, we keep it parallel, and in between the plates there is either air, vacuum, or some different dielectric or insulating mediums. So this will be called capacitor. So here you can see this is called capacitor. Now what is between these two plates? This is dielectric medium. This is dielectric medium, or simply you will say this is insulating medium. So if it is insulating medium, so can you tell one thing? Is it possible that current will flow through this one? No, it is not possible that current will flow through this insulating medium. But still I'll tell you there is current inside the capacitor, and we'll discuss a very beautiful story right now. So before discussing that story, let us derive the formula for capacitance. So capacitor plates are basically like this. Now this capacitor plate will have some area A, and the distance between these two plates is D, distance of separation D. Then we can say we have the capacitance C equal to epsilon A upon D. What is epsilon? Epsilon is called permittivity. Epsilon is called permittivity. And if it is permittivity, that means permittivity of a medium. So epsilon can be written as epsilon naught into epsilon r. Now what is epsilon naught? Epsilon naught is the permittivity of free space or permittivity of vacuum. And if you write the value, epsilon naught value is, it is very known to you, it's very well known to you. It is 8.85 into 10 to the power minus 12 farad per meter. This is epsilon naught. Now epsilon r, relative permittivity. What is the meaning of relative permittivity? Since everybody is knowing the value of permittivity of free space. Now somebody is saying that you have some different dielectric medium. Now they want to tell you the value of permittivity. So instead of telling you the value of permittivity, they will tell you that it is 5 times or 10 times, 20 times greater than the permittivity of free space. That means epsilon r is the degree of comparison of permittivity of the dielectric medium with respect to the permittivity of free space. So this is called relative permittivity. Relative permittivity. This is relative permittivity. A is very known to you. It is area of plates. Area of plates. And if you write D, what is D? Separation between plates. This is separation between plates. This is D. I hope it is clear to you. Now let us see what happens to capacitor. That means to understand capacitor, what you will have to do? You will have to connect a battery across the capacitor. So let's connect a battery of potential V volt across the capacitor. This is a DC battery. Its potential is V. It is connected. The moment you connect battery, this is the positive terminal of battery and this is negative terminal of battery. So what is the job of positive terminal? It will start injecting positive charges. It will start injecting positive charges. Charges will come, it will come here. Similarly, negative charges will be supplied through the negative terminal of the battery and this charge will come like this. This is negative terminal. This is positive terminal. Now the moment charge attacks on plate, so after that it doesn't find any path to cross the plate. Why? Because suppose this is the plate, charge is entering here. So till the plate there was a wire, but after the plate there is no wire. After the plate there is insulating medium. The charge will be stopped here. So now what will happen, since many charges are flowing? So what will happen? You will see that within some time span, the charges are accumulating like this. Similarly, the negative charges are accumulating like this. Now, if there is positive charge, there is negative charge, so there will be electric field. Electric field, it's positive, negative, then there will be electric field. So, a electric field is established inside the capacitor. Now, what happens? There is electric field, but again, what can you say? How can you say that there is current? You can't say there is current. So what happens, according to earlier laws, that means Ampere's circuital law, so according to that law, there was no any current inside the plates of a capacitor. Everybody was knowing that there is current outside the plate of capacitor, means people were agree with the current up to this point. Suppose this is point A, this is point B. So what people were saying, they were saying that charges are coming, so current is flowing like this up to point A. Again from point B, current is flowing like this. But during that century, who came? Maxwell. Do you know Maxwell? I'm not talking about Australian cricketer, okay, who hit sixes in IPL. Maxwell was a great scientist. In fact, he derived many equations for physics and electrical engineering. So Maxwell came, he thought that is it possible that there is current before A, again after B there is current, but there is no any current inside the capacitor. He thought that it can't be possible. There must be some current. So what he did, he thought that if there is current, through any conductor, then there will be circulating magnetic field lines like this. Suppose this is the conductor, current is flowing from left to right, so your magnetic field lines will be like this, means circular magnetic field lines will be this. So there will be magnetic field lines. So what he did, he thought that let us keep a magnetic needle. Let us keep a magnetic needle. So he placed a magnetic needle. He placed a magnetic needle here. The moment he placed magnetic needle and connected through a supply, what he saw? He saw very interesting thing. He saw that there is deflection in the magnetic field needle. But that deflection was for very short period, but there was deflection in the magnetic needle. So he was surprised, and he started telling everybody that there is magnetic field inside the capacitor plates. So now people ask them that okay, there is magnetic field, so what will happen? He told that no, if there is magnetic field, that means there is current inside the capacitor plates. So everybody started laughing at him. Why? Because everybody told that it's insulator. So how current is possible? But he told no, current will definitely be there, because if there is deflection, it means magnetic field. So magnetic field is possible only when there is current. He told that there is current. Nobody was agree with him. Again he started thinking. So what he thought? He thought that the moment you connect battery, the charges are being accumulated on the plates of the capacitor. So what happens? Suppose at time t equal to 1 second, the number of charges are 1. Then charges are increasing 2, 3, 4, 5. The number of charges are increasing like this. So when the number of charges are increasing like this, so what he told? He told that strength of magnetic field is increasing. He told strength of magnetic field is increasing. It's right. So according to Maxwell, what he told? He told that strength of magnetic field is increasing. That means changing magnetic field. There is changing magnetic field. There is changing magnetic field. So now if there is changing magnetic field, changing not magnetic, changing electric field, changing electric field. So if there is changing electric field, so now what he told, because of changing electric field, there is magnetic field. Again everybody got surprised. Changing electric field, there is magnetic field. Magnetic field. Again people asked him that right now if you have proved that there is magnetic field, now you have to prove how current is there, how there is existence of current. So what he told for the existence of current? He told that there must be a current. There must be a current. So what he did? He gave a new definition of current. He gave a new type of current. He told that there is a displacement current. He gave the concept of displacement current. He told there is displacement current. So now what is displacement current? He told that there are two types of current from now. One is Conduction current, that means current due to flow of charges. Now displacement current, he told that this is another type of current. This is due to changing electric field. Due to changing electric field, there is displacement current. Again, people asked him if there is displacement current, then give some formula. So now he had to keep the formula in such a way that this is conduction current because flowing through wire. Conduction current means due to flow of charges. Now the displacement current should be equal to the value of conduction current. So what, to prove this one, he gave one very beautiful formula, ID equal to epsilon into d phi E upon dt. Epsilon is the permittivity and about phi E, phi is nothing but electric flux. Phi is nothing but electric flux. Now if phi is electric flux, so phi E will be written as E dot A, or simply you write E into A, because here electric field and area normal to the surface are at the same angle, so here it will be written E into A. So this is the formula of displacement current. So if any interviewer is asking you such type of question, that how current flows through capacitor, so you will have to tell this type of answer. You will have to tell the phenomena of displacement current, because if you don't answer in this way, then they will think that your knowledge is zero, and they may think that you have not studied physics properly. Because if you have studied in class 11th and 12th, then you have definitely studied this concept, the current through capacitor. Now what happens if you are applying alternating current? So in the case of alternating current, the voltage is always changing. If you are applying alternating current, voltage is always changing. If voltage is changing, matlab E is changing. If electric field is changing, then all time you can see a current through the capacitor, and that current is also conduction current. But for the case of DC, what happens? For the case of DC, what happens? If you are applying DC, so initially the switch is on, and within some time capacitor gets fully charged. Once capacitor gets fully charged, so you can say that it is storing charge Q, and after that capacitor acts as open circuit, because current becomes zero. Until and unless there is changing electric field, then only there will be current. So you can write one very beautiful term. Just note down this one, that capacitor stores electric charge. And what about inductor? If somebody asks you about inductor, inductor stores current and capacitor stores electric charge. I hope it is clear to you. Next, come to question. If the area of plates of a parallel plate capacitor is 5 cm square and separated at a distance of 1 cm, the value of capacitance is. Now you'll have to write like this, given that area of plates of parallel capacitor, that means A equal to 5 cm square and distance D is given as 1 cm. You have to find the value of capacitance C. So what will you write? C equal to epsilon naught A divided by D. Now your question will be, sir, why you have written here epsilon naught? Here you can see that no any dielectric medium detail is given to you. If no such detail is given to you, then you have to assume that it is vacuum or free space, and its permittivity will be equal to epsilon naught, which will be equal to 8.85 into 10 to the power minus 12 farad per meter. So now if we put all those values, 8.85 into 10 to the power minus 12, what is the unit? Farad per meter, into area is 5 centimeter square divided by distance of separation is d, which is equal to 1 centimeter. So centimeter, 1 centimeter will be cancelled out. From here it will be 8.85 into 10 to the power minus 12. Now farad per meter, and here it is centimeter. So what will you do? You write into 5 into 10 to the power minus 2 farad. So from here, if you calculate the value, its value will come 0.4425 picofarad. So what is picofarad? It is pico means 10 to the power minus 12. So 0.4425 into 10 to the power minus 12 farad. This will be the value of capacitance. I hope it is clear to you. So these types of questions you can expect in semester examination. Next one, the second question, it is given that a parallel plate capacitor has capacitance of 2 millifarad. If the distance between plates is doubled, then the capacitance will become equal to. Initially given that C equal to 2 millifarad. Now what they are saying, distance between the plates is doubled. This distance d is doubled. So you can write d2 equal to 2d1. d1 is the previous distance and d2 is new separation distance. You have to find new value of capacitance. New value itself means you can write this is C2, and then you can say this given value was C1. So what you know, you write, we know that C equal to epsilon naught A by D. From here you can say, here area is also constant because they are not mentioning about area. It means they are not going to change area. Epsilon naught is also constant. You can say capacitance is proportional to D. So from here you can write C2 upon C2. C2 upon C1 will become equal to D1 upon D2. So from here C2 will become equal to C1 into D1 divided by D2. Instead of D2 you write 2D1. From here its value will be C1 by 2. From here its value will be C1 by 2. C1 by 2 means what? C1 value is 2 millifarad divided by C2 value is 2. That means C1 by 2. So it will become 1 millifarad. So this is the value of new capacitance of this capacitor. I hope it is clear to you. Next, discuss types of capacitors. So there are different types of capacitors available in market. Just have a brief introduction about those names. One is ceramic capacitors, then you will have film capacitors, power film capacitors, electrolytic capacitors, paper capacitors, mica capacitors. So there are many more number of capacitors. Again you will have variable capacitors. So I am just putting one image of different capacitors. So you can see this is the image of different types of capacitors available in the market. So next, let us discuss about very important part, that is linear, active and bilateral element. So let us see what is linear element. The elements in which current and voltage are proportional to each other. That means if current is proportional to voltage or voltage is proportional to current, either in time domain or in frequency domain. Now what do you mean by time domain and frequency domain? Time domain means if current is changing with respect to time. If we are observing the currents with respect to time, that is called time domain. Now if you go to AC part, so in AC part you will see that there is frequency. So now if current and voltages are being observed in terms of frequency, then that domain is called frequency domain. So right now I am telling you the definition, whether it is time domain or frequency domain. If current and voltage are proportional in either one of the domains or in both the domains, then these elements are called linear elements. Now let us take the example. We'll learn through example. First one is resistance. If you talk about resistance, if temperature is constant, then I is proportional to V or V is proportional to I. It means you can say that resistance is linear element. Resistance is linear element. And if you draw the graph of current and voltage of resistances, vertical axis is current, horizontal axis is voltage, you will see that there is variation in current like this. It is varying linearly and the graph is passing through origin. So resistance is linear element. Next, second one is inductance. Now many people confuse that about inductance and capacitance. So just to avoid your confusion, I am writing all the elements separately. Now in the case of inductance, what happens? In the case of inductance, you will see that there will be magnetic flux if there is current. If there is current, there will be magnetic field lines, and if magnetic field lines means there is magnetic flux. So that magnetic field lines or magnetic flux is proportional to current I. So from here you can write phi equal to Li. So if magnetic flux is proportional to I, that means here flux is what? It is basically the response or output. And what is current? Current is nothing but cause. Because of current there is flux. So inductance is also linear, or inductor is a linear element. Resistor is linear element. Inductor is linear element. Now it's the turn of capacitor. So what you people say? What about capacitor? It will be linear or non-linear? What do you think? So you know about capacitor. In the capacitor, if there are parallel plates, if you connect voltage, so according to voltage there will be charge on the plates of capacitor. So you can say in the capacitor Q is proportional to V, or you can say Q is equal to CV. So Q equal to CV, it means it is also linear element. It is also linear elements. Right now I won't discuss anything about Laplace transform. Otherwise I would have shown you how the current and voltage are proportional in the case of inductor and capacitor in frequency domain. So this is about linear element. So now next let us discuss active element. So what do you mean by active? What do you mean by active person? Active person means from the morning if he starts some work, he or she starts some work, the works which we are assigning to them, they are completing the works. So those people are called active people or active persons. So here what is the meaning of active element? Active electrical elements. So electrical elements that can either deliver the power continuously. It is saying the electrical elements that can either deliver the power continuously or can amplify the input signal continuously are called active elements. Continuous word is very much important here, because what happens, actually many objective questions are being asked on this topic. Which of the following is not an active element? Which of the following is an active element? So there you will see the options are given like inductor, capacitor. Many people mark that inductor and capacitor are active elements. Why they mark like that? Because I have told you that inductor and capacitor, they stores energy. So when they store energy, people think that now they can release the energy in next cycle. So if they are releasing the energy, they are active element. No, if they can deliver the energy continuously, then only they can be active element. Now what is the second part of this one? This is very much important. Or can amplify the input signal continuously. Can amplify the input signal continuously. Now amplifying means what? If it is amplifier, suppose you have 2 watt of power, if I am able to amplify the power to 10 watt, then I am an active element. Clear? So now let us take some example. What the example we'll have to take? First example will be battery. First example will be battery, or we can simply say voltage source or current source. So these are active elements because they can deliver the power continuously. Next example I am taking from electronics, that is transistor. That is transistor. Transistor is an active element. Why? Because it is used as an amplifier. It can amplify the input signal. If you are applying some input signal, it will be amplified. Next is op-amp. Op-amp. Op-amp means operational amplifier. So these two are also the example of active elements. So in the exam you will find some options like which of the following is an active element. Options will be resistance, inductance, capacitance and transistor. So your answer will be, correct answer will be transistor, or if op-amp is given, your answer will be op-amp. But the elements which are not active, now the elements which are not active, such elements are called passive elements. Such elements are called passive, opposite of active, that is passive. So what is passive element? Resistor, inductor, capacitor, these are the examples of passive element. Next is bilateral element. What is bilateral? Suppose this is an element. Now if you apply the supply or DC supply and you connect the positive side of battery at this part, then a current will be injected like this. Clear? Suppose 2 ampere of current is being injected like this. Now if you reverse the polarity of battery, polarity means positive terminal was connected here, negative was connected here. Now what will you do? You will change the polarity, means negative will connected here and positive will connected here. Again you will find that same current 2 ampere is flowing through this one in opposite direction. That means a element through which current can flow in either side is called bilateral element. Element through which current can flow from any side is called bilateral element. Next, magnitude of current is independent of polarity. For example, let us take the example of resistance. So resistance, let us connect a battery. This battery is 10 volt. This resistance is 5 ohm. You will see that 2 ampere of current is flowing through this. Now let us change the polarity of battery. That means battery terminals are reversed. Battery terminals are reversed. This is 5 ohm. This is 10 volt. So now what will happen? The direction of current is being changed. Now the direction of current will be from right to left and value will be same, 10 divided by 5, that is 2 ampere. That means here you can say that for bilateral element, the magnitude of current is independent of polarity. So example, what are the examples? Examples, I am writing bilateral elements examples. Examples are resistor, inductor, capacitor. These are bilateral elements. Next, the opposite of bilateral is unilateral. Unilateral means current can flow through only one side. So what will be the example? Again, from electronics devices you will have to take one example, that is diode. I am drawing the symbol of diode, and through this diode you can see that current can flow from left to right only. When right to left if you apply some battery, then current won't flow. So diode is the example of unilateral element. So these are very basics of this basic electrical engineering, and these are very much important linear active bilateral element, because in the next chapter if you start studying network theorems, so there you will hear the terms many times, you will see these terms many times, linear active bilateral network. So I hope these elements and capacitances are clear to you, and I hope you really enjoyed the session. So thank you for attending the session.